And hello and welcome to the fifth Games for GMs game that I have done. It's been a long time since I've done one of these. Yeah, I probably should do more because they're fun for everybody, I hope. I've collected a group of people from the Shadowrun subreddit or Facebook or wherever it is that you guys happen to see this, and we're gonna do a small game here, and we're gonna take some time to discuss it as six GMs sitting around a table, or I should say six other GMs, um, about some of the choices that were made, some of the ways we could have done it, how we could adapt it to our own home games, all of that wonderful stuff, and hopefully every one of us will take something home to their own personal tables. Uh, so we're gonna just go real quick, left or right. People can introduce themselves, maybe a short their personal experience with Shadowrun, why they chose the character they chose for their primary choice, or really any of the other characters, and let's see where that takes us. If you guys have any early questions, we can start talking about them, and then we'll get into the run itself. So, starting left to right.
Left to right, roll 20.
Yeah,
Yeah, right. I was about to say,
All right, so Timmy.
from where?
yeah.
Hey, that's me. Awesome. Yeah, my name's Matt, or I got probably done in various places on the internet, or got NERPs on the Shadowrun Reddit primarily, in the Runners Hub as well. Really, I think I bought Shadowrun back whenever Dragonfall came out for the PC. I picked it up then, and I really haven't had a chance to play it until this January start of this year. I've been running the game for my normal group in a little brick and mortar that we go to a Wednesday evening. I've got a group of 7 people who are equally learning the rules, so and about 3 hours per week to play. So I have to skim over a load of stuff to make sure the deck is not taking up all the time, for example. Yeah, as for why I picked Timmy, let's call them roles. I understand the roles with the exception of riggers. I just cannot wrap my head around riggers. So I think the best way for me to sort of pick up how a rigger really works would just be to play one, especially around people who, by this, I'm hoping, have more of a clue of what they're doing than myself. So that's going to help me a great load.
Moving along.
Okay. Sean, and I'm new to GMing Shadowrun for about a year. I've been playing Shadowrun off and on for the last 7, but for the last year I've been the GM for the game and still learning a lot. My group is 7 people, and they range from experienced all the way to brand new. And I chose Lucas because he's, a liar and a cheat, and still people trust him, and that's always fun to play.
All right, moving along to the renamed abomination.
Yeah, all right. So I go by Cypher pretty much everywhere on the internet, but I mean, for this purpose, since my tag is Grist, that'll be fine. I've been doing, tabletop and your classic RPGs for quite a number of years now, but Shadowrun is a little bit new to me. I first got into it when the first Shadowrun Returns video game, the new computer game, came out. But then my in-person group that we switch between different games to do tabletop with, switched to Shadowrun about a year and a half ago. And I'm not the GM right now, but we rotate around who is the GM, and so my turn's about to come up. So I figured I'd want to brush up and see how some different people approach this game. I chose the Abomination, which I've renamed to Grist, because it seems kind of appropriate, but also it's a little bit less of a mouthful, because I think he has some interesting challenges. One, he has he has some fun negatives, at least in my perspective, because he has superhuman psychosis, and he's prejudiced against like like awakened or normies, as it's put in the sheet. Plus, he's blind, so that's kind of an interesting thing to play. He's dual natured, right? Because he's a ghoul, so he can sort of see, but it's kind of an interesting character. Just some challenges there.
All right. I actually have been a GM I go by Catron3 on Reddit. I have a Twitch stream as well, but I've been a GM for about a little over a year now. Only been playing Shadowrun for about a year and a half. I got at least 12 players between two regular bi-weekly groups, as well as I do a monthly Catalyst game. Kind of hoping to see just how everybody else does their games and inputs from other GMs on it. As for why I chose Professor, it's actually a character I've been meaning to create and kind of mess around with a bit for a while. Somebody who doesn't really do much in the way of combat, more oriented towards just screwing with everything. And so it kind of intrigued me a bit to see how well I could pull this off.
All right, cool. I'm Alex, and I go by, you'll see me as Chrome Gnome on Reddit, and that's where I came up into this game. I'm going to be playing Countermeasure today. I've been GMing since college, shortly after I started playing D&D, and I'm getting up into my 30s now, so that's kind of a while. I picked up Shadowrun in 2010, maybe 2009. Played for a little while and immediately got thrown into GMing that too, because that's how that always goes around me. But I do really enjoy GMing, especially designing runs and designing characters and stuff like that. So it's a pretty natural fit. Play a whole bunch of different systems, and honestly, I haven't played much Shadowrun 5th edition. It's been mostly in 4th, so I'm excited to get into the new version. I picked Countermeasure because I like supporty characters. I like the kind of guys that don't have an obvious path to victory and have to think and kind of run some tactics, run some different strategies to get through and do something cool. So this guy is totally about that. He is not all that effective necessarily in a stand-up fight, but he buffs his allies, he coordinates people, and he can actually talk his way into and out of a lot of stuff. So that's kind of how I'm going to be playing him, like a sort of a team leader, a small unit coordinator. It'll be a lot of fun. And like Abomination, I picked a regular human being name for him too, so you guys don't have to be yelling out Countermeasure all the time. So he's going to be Callum McGregor, so just call him Cal.
Sure, you want to throw that into the display thing? Because I'll totally forget.
Oh, totally.
I ain't going to call you guys by your names, because for one, I don't know your names. You're just going to be...
That's fine.
Whoever's there.
I'll get that up right now, and you guys can move on.
And then last and least...
I know, right? Everybody loves that. I'm Shang. I've been dealing with Shadowrun at a tabletop for about 2.5, 3 years now. I'm old. I got started with this in the days of Joshua the Alligator Shaman and Jake Armitage. Was how I was originally introduced to this world, and I only recently got into it, like I say, about 2 to 3 years ago in a tabletop aspect. It is, I love the system because I think the whole combination of stuff is interesting, and I took Engrind here because, Tuscan ain't easy, and he seems like a great way to be able to ham that up, because I know that's always a great thing to have happen.
And then I guess I'll go last. So I guess I will be last and least. I am Bamce. I am probably too much on the Shadowrun subreddit. Love me or hate me. But when Shadowrun Returns came out, that is what kind of got me into it. I picked it up on the computer. I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. This was when I was working at the school, so I had a whole bunch of free time in the morning, so I could listen to podcasts. I got into podcasting. I found the Arcology guys, Hitting Grid, and I listened to all that. And I'm like, this is cool. And when I was a young, plucky, 15-year-old in high school, we used to play D&D in my buddy's basement, as many of us probably have. And then you become an adult, and suddenly you ain't got time for that. And thankfully, I have we have all found the time to get back into tabletops because tabletop RPGs are great. Um, a couple of things since this is a one shot and we've never really met each other. I run a very rules light game of Shadowrun. If you guys have ever watched any of my stuff, you have an idea what I'm talking about. But if there is something you guys wish to roll, just roll it. Let me know what you're rolling it for and all that kind of stuff. If there are elements in a scene that I'll use the alley example that I talk about every once in a while. Is say you're chasing a dude down an alley, or you're trying to spy on somebody. It's an alley, and I'm going to describe it being full of dirt and that kind of stuff. But if you guys are like, is there a dumpster? Well, chances are yes, because it's a dirty, dingy alley, and sure there could be a dumpster there, but I don't usually go that far in depth on things because I don't want it to be distracting. But if you guys want something that makes sense for it to be there, it can totally just be there.
Yep.
I don't have a problem sharing that whole narrative, control over the world thing with anybody here at my table. I love tropes and cliches. Let's break into some tropes and cliches. You want to, run around from the security of a place and come around that corner straight into a police coming out of a donut shop? That's hilarious. Let's do it. That being said, is there anything you guys want to start off with? Questions, comments, concerns?
I'm guessing you don't want us to Henderson it.
Thankfully for you guys, this is just kind of a one-shot. I normally also run a very realistic world. So when the giant troll drives down the street on a motorcycle with an assault rifle and a katana on his back, he's going to collect some police attention. So that in a home game would have more sticky consequences rather than what we have here.
That's why I said that.
That's just throwing it out there. We could do it, and we'll go a completely different direction than what we kind of had planned today. All right, then. Everyone is good to go. We're just going to start off nice and easy. Heading to the meat. We're going to assume, for simplicity's sake, that you guys all have at least worked with each other, know of each other, are familiar. So we don't have 6 people standing around that don't I don't know these people kind of thing. Mostly for expediency, but in addition, some of these characters have run before, so they do actually know each other under different personalities. As I check my little prompt in here, we'll go with Lucas because Lucas is a face, but you will get a call from your fixer who says, he's got some work lined up for you. Real simple. Johnson wants some research material grabbed from a site and returned mostly intact. Meet us set up for 8 o'clock this evening at a place called the Gray Line. It is a restaurant in the Puget Sound. And I mean that very literally. It is in the Puget Sound.
Well, who's got a boat? All right, we're gonna have to take a ferry.
Yep.
Let me. So the Gray Line's a place I like to use because it's on the coast, and then the lower sections of the restaurant actually at high tide are underwater.
Okay.
So that you can see out into the sound itself. It's not just floating out there.
Well, in that case, who's got a car? I got a car. Do we want to take my car?
I've got a van. I think I have a van. Yeah, that's a van. And a
Yeah.
Santa.
I got a Roadmaster, so we got a couple of vans. I mean, there are 6 of us, so it's probably 2 vehicles.
I have a
I'll jump in a
Jackrabbit,
van.
so actually, I probably shouldn't drive, so I'll have to go in the van.
All right, Timmy and I'll drive. 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock.
So traffic will be a mess, but we'll get there eventually.
Is there anything you guys want to do beforehand? You do have a couple of hours probably.
Oh, is this a good time for a shopping trip? I have a short shopping list.
What is your short shopping list?
I would like, what, I got like 1,000 new yen. I want a handful of doses of either jazz or cram
Sure,
and
congrats.
some
You have them.
gel rounds and tracker rounds.
Congratulations. You may have them.
Okay. Do I pay for them?
You can pay for them, but like theoretically, the character's just going to reset to status quo afterwards.
All right, fine.
Yeah,
Figured those were pretty easy to get.
and it's
All right, no, that's all I had.
you're not asking for anything super crazy. So,
All right.
Ingrid is like, what is a good thing to wear? Well,
You know, this is a district. Like, well, not a district, but an area. This is some like rich fancy area. This is some like low rent burnt out area. This seems like a
it's
fancy joint. I will wear the
B at
t-shirt with the
least.
tuxedo on it.
Yeah.
yeah, that's given what we know about giant trolls and one hit, and I think he has a low lifestyle.
Yeah, and a logic of two. I have a tuxedo t-shirt. It's even clean today.
You just wear the black jacket over it so that like it looks like it's just a tuxedo.
You mean the armor jacket? Yeah, like
Okay. Um,
I ain't very good at this stuff, man. I'm not too smart.
poor guy. Just had to be born a troll.
He's
Sure.
cute though. We keep him around.
He draws a lot of fire, right? I'm just looking
Yeah.
for the fact that this team is half Trog, so
Yeah.
that's kind of great.
Yeah, I was gonna ask. I'd like to pick up maybe a little bit more ammo
Sure.
because I only have 12 stick and shock rounds.
I mean,
Right.
that's so that
Yeah,
you can
how
eat them
hard are
later.
we counting ammo? That's another question. How hard are we counting ammunition?
I'm not.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, well, then I don't care.
Far too much bookkeeping for me to even like. If we get into a prolonged firefight situation, sure, we might.
Well, we'll have to reload, but just like whether you have 12 rounds of this and 6 rounds of that, or are they like alternately loaded in your magazine? Fuck that.
Yeah, no, that's part of the things I like to throw away because it's like,
Yeah.
how much minutia do you really want to get into?
Yeah. This
Unless
isn't
you
Dark
suddenly want to like have snuck into a place and you really have 15 magazines for an
Right.
assault rifle on you. It's like, well, hold on a second. Let's roll this back and think about how you pulled that one off. That sounds
There's
either
the one-
uncomfortable or impossible.
That is the one thing I just love about this game. It's like, yes, let's have a thing about weight and then forget weight.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think I've played any RPG where it actually takes actual encumbrance into account. Like Blades in
There
the
was
Dark,
a-
you have a load that you can carry, but you don't need to decide what that is until you want to spontaneously spawn that item from hammer space.
Right.
Blades is
It's
great,
also
by
just
the
kind
way.
of funny that they talk about you can't carry more than X number of kilograms, and then they never give anything a weight.
Yeah.
5th edition. So, you guys are just going to the meet then? You don't want to do anything else? Any last minute purchases?
I'm good.
Yeah,
No.
we're good. I'm good.
I'm good.
All right.
Yeah, I'm good.
I want to bring snacks because I'm just gathering. I probably can't afford what this place is going to sell. So I know some Funyuns or something.
Some
soy
troggy,
Funyuns.
some troggy snacks.
Yes, exactly.
Love it.
I will share them in my van. Whoever has the luxury of being in my van, I'll throw snacks at periodically.
Is this the kind of thing that? What do you think? Do you think trog bait or troll marketed snacks are the kind of things that other races might enjoy eating, or are they like?
My character can't eat them.
I'm indifferent to whether they can eat it or not. I'm just
Just
like, try
offering?
this. It's really good.
It's not like Discworld where troll snacks are just like giant chunks of sulfur.
Mm.
I would think it would be more like
Salt.
like troll candy would sell great because it would be like huge sized and crazy sweet, but it would be like,
Jawbreakers.
yeah, there's like huge crazy sweet jawbreakers or like giant chocolate bars or something, but they'd have like 8 times the sugar, so they'd make sure they could get through those tough calluses on the tongue for flavor.
Well,
got
I
these-
mean, honestly, looking at like the sheet here, with my knowledge skills, it sort of indicates my interest. So it's probably like vile offcuts of meat from like a real butcher's with real meat. So like it's probably like chicken giblets, just fried.
some kind of like jerky or something like that.
I was thinking
Yeah,
turkey.
the worst bit, like jerked chicken giblets. That's what I got.
Dried tripe.
But it's real. That's the thing. I'm like,
Yeah.
but it's real, and that's how I'm trying to convince people to eat it. I'm like, it's real,
It's real waste from chicken. Delicious.
but it's still chicken and real. You're
Right?
focusing too much on the negatives there. It's real.
So, I believe this place is actually in downtown. I don't 100% remember. Um, Very nice place. There is a valet that it will park your vehicles. Um, Grist, if you want to go ahead and roll something like a disguise test so that people don't see you're a walking biohazard, uh,
It's
that's probably
gonna.
a good place to start.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Have my synth mace mask on because you added that to my gear list. So I have a synth skin mask and my sunglasses on.
You know, you wear your sunglasses at night. You're that guy.
So I can.
I'm just looking at my
Sure.
what it is real quick.
For the rest of you guys, there's valet parking. Do you choose to valet park your vehicles, or do you just kind of?
Under
I think
duress, I will allow them to valet the park mode.
I think Cal would choose the valet parking, actually.
Sure.
Yeah, that's neat. You don't see that every day.
They have a little bit of trouble with the troll vehicle. They actually bring out some wooden blocks that the guy steps up on and ties around his shoes and kind of stilt walks into the vehicle to go park it. Inside there is a maitre d', older balding human man with some like those little half bifocal glasses, and he's even to the trolls he is looking down his nose at them, even though it requires craning his neck up quite a bit. Can I help you?
We're the Johnson party.
And who was saying that? Because I'm not too good with the.
Cal.
Uh,
Cal's saying.
Gotcha. Okay. So the human, and he's gonna
Yep.
turn to you. He's like, looking over the team. All of you?
If you have a table big enough.
I suppose. One moment.
Ingrid wants to see if his ears are pointed.
No, those ears ain't pointed. He is old, balding, and kind of refined. Like, at least you think so.
I will adjust the tie on my tuxedo T-shirt. It is, of course, just part of the T-shirt.
Right. So, a couple of minutes will go by. He's like,
I was gonna say, could I use magic fingers and just fiddle with his tie?
I mean, you could certainly do that, but like, it's on his shirt, so it's not actually gonna do anything.
Yeah, it's like a decal on the shirt. It's not an actual tie.
Oh no, not Shank's tie. I'm talking about the pompous.
Oh, I mean, sure. If you want to cast magic in the middle of downtown, you're more than welcome to just blatantly do that. There you go. We'll go with the one so that you've got it on straight now, and he's not too interested in looking at you too much because you're a filthy troll. I'm sorry, you're a filthy orc. So he's just gonna kind of
Yes,
ignore you for the moment, and sooner. We'll go with sooner, probably about 2 minutes. A nice young, let's go with that elven hostess is going to come up. She'll be like, if you will just follow me. She is dressed in very much like kind of like a more tasteful lifeguard's outfit. Going to take you through the
All right.
restaurant. Where,
I'm sorry, a tasteful lifeguard's outfit.
yeah,
Can
so
you
instead
paint
of
your word
A
picture, please?
bikini and bow tie.
no,
Yeah, no, it's
we'll
a
go-
bunny girl outfit without the fishnets or the midriff is all it is.
we'll
I don't
we'll
know
go
if she's
one
got the
piece
right kind of
skirt,
little fuzzy things on it.
apron, that kind of thing.
Right.
Going through the top section of the restaurant is set up very much like a beach. Many of the servers will be dressed in similar outfits. As you guys are taken down into the lower section, it kind of transition. I'm going to say this is after high tide, so you can see like the water level is actually going up as you go down some stairs. Becomes a bit more of an undersea kind of thing, and the servers and employees down here are dressed more in like a traditional mermaid motif. you are taken to a table in the back corner that is very large and round, and there are two troll benches there that are nice and reinforced that are kind of out in the uh, the walkway a little bit. And sitting in the chair is a let's make him a dwarf. He has big old mutton chops, no full beard, red hair, um, glasses, and there's a cigar in an ashtray on the table.
Let's
Approach the
take a
table.
seat.
Gonna
Yeah.
have a seat and ask the waitress if she can bring me some flotation devices. Because
So
obviously she was not given any.
Should I look under the seat for flotation devices? Because that's where I'd expect them to be stored.
I think I'm face palming loud enough to hear by now.
I'm just gonna sit down and sigh, but not say much because
Yeah.
I'm same.
it's like, oh god, why did we bring these guys here? Should have left them in the
Mr.
van.
Johnson. Mr. Johnson. It's good to see you this fine evening. Do you have something for us?
I have a fine meal and a job opportunity that will make us both very rich.
Oh, hell, that sounds good to me.
Sort of perk
Wonderful.
up at me. And just to clarify, the meal is advance payment for the job, right?
He's gonna look at you like, yes, I am paying for the meal. This is-
Excellent.
AR menus will pop up in front of you. It's a lot of elven cuisine and a lot of seafood. It's the kind of place that's going to have a little, like, written in Sparethial and then in English. And there are no prices on anything that is listed here.
So like French food, right?
Sure, I've never eaten French
I'm
food.
getting
Oh,
sushi.
you know,
coming up on you.
French food is very much you go to the restaurant and then you point at the thing that you think is what you want and just say, I want this, because you can't pronounce it.
Je voudrais-
It's like
that.
there's a single word in there that I understand the kind of meat that's involved. I'm in. So he will
I'll
take a minute to discuss food things.
Mhm.
Um,
Does he have any recommendations?
He will recommend a bottle of wine that I know nothing about, but he swears it's
All right,
good. And he will recommend like a seafood salad.
I'll follow along.
Yeah.
Wrist will order something that has raw fish, and that's it.
Sure, so some kind of sushi.
Well, they got
sauce.
sushi.
Yeah, they probably do. At the very least, not like made on a little block sushi, but something fancy and raw, because that's how. Holy machine gun fingers. Who's that?
That's Cal. I want to see how hard this Johnson is going to try and screw us over.
Okay, can you mute yourself when you're typing like that?
Sure.
Because you have an impressive typing speed, sir.
Mechanical keyboard.
Yeah, sounds like a machine gun. All right.
How do you like that then?
So with four hits on your judge intentions, he seems open and honest right now, but you guys haven't really gotten into details of what's going on yet.
That's fine.
So thus far,
Yes.
everything he has said is, honest.
So the wine is good and the seafood salad is good.
Right.
Yes.
And he's not gleefully hiring us to be cannon fodder.
Not that you know of quite yet.
All right, cool.
So a couple of minutes will go by as you make small talk about the food. He actually speaks Sparethial, so he will be willing to translate any funny words that you guys don't quite get. Waitress will come back around. Who all is getting the seafood salad besides the dwarf?
Cal raises his hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd have just pointed at something, so I might have ended up with the seafood salad.
Sure. And it's cookie for lobster.
Yeah, no, yeah, sure thing, Cookie. I will have the lobster, like the big one.
Okay. They will, right away. We'll be right back. And the waitress will disappear. Somebody will come around with a wine and a bucket of ice and some glasses. Pour you guys all out some, then disappear, leaving the bottle. The trolls, you guys get normal people-sized glasses. Sorry. Um, the dwarf will take a sip.
Hey, shots.
Fantastic.
Well, that's fine. I'd take the bottle. It's more hand-sized. So everyone's put a glass and I'll pick up the bottle.
Okay.
So here we are. We're gonna begin our new friendship with a fine meal. You're gonna love the salad. It's great. But we're here for other reasons too. For business. There is a facility that we have recently learned about, which is doing some very interesting research. However, we kind of want to know a little bit more in detail. If you could enter said facility, recover some of their test materials, and return them to me, I would be most appreciated and very willing to pay you handsomely. Do you all feel this is something that you can do?
In the general sense, sure, but we need a few more specifics than that, starting with how hazardous is this material?
It's no more hazardous than you or I, I'm sure.
Uh-huh. Is it a person?
He's gonna kind of step back like, oh, okay. Like we're going right there. Great.
Yeah, we are.
It is, well, since we're being so frank here amongst friends, or new friends as the case may be, they are doing technomancer related research.
Oh, interesting.
Almost assuredly is a metahuman of some kind.
Yeah.
Or probably more likely multiple.
I would shoot a glance over at the rigger, but I think the rigger is stuffing his face.
Maybe with just the wine bottle.
Right.
Yeah. Also, we just to Timmy, what much he can pick up is that this seems possibly not the best venue to have such a frank discussion. So he's just sort of, while eating fistfuls of salad because his cutlery's too small, so he's just grabbing it by his hand.
Oh,
just sort of
well,
looking around, see if anyone's looking. So.
well, so the salad hasn't quite come yet. This is the
Sorry,
the
my
pre-salad
mistake.
time.
In that case, he's drinking wine while looking around
From
to
the
see
bottle.
if anyone seems to from direct from the bottle. Yeah, just see if anyone seems to be listening in because very out in the open about this.
Oh, for a couple of you guys here in roll 20, if you put the greater than 5 at the end, it'll just show the hits.
Oh, okay, cool. I haven't used roll
But
20
you got
as well.
3 hits.
Yeah. What were you trying to roll for?
Perception. Just see if anyone seems to be paying an undue amount of attention to our discussion.
Oh, also standing offer, everybody gets 2 more dice on perception.
Yeah, you can go ahead and write that on the table because I'm sure everybody's going to forget.
Okay.
Because I know I already did.
I'm gonna just roll another 2.
Sure.
Yeah.
Awesome. So with 4 hits, looking around when you guys were escorted to the table, you were getting a lot of looks from the general populace of this place. But when you have 2 trolls, one of which is wearing a tuxedo t-shirt and an armored jacket, being escorted or guided through the restaurant into a very private-looking booth, obviously you're going to attract some attention from people who are normal patrons of this kind of place, because it is like a normal business that does normal business things, such as feeding people. So looking around, you will notice that a couple of people are giving you the occasional glance, but it's not the like they're up to something. It's more like, do you see what that guy is wearing? They're wearing the people you notice are wearing like nicer clothes. Like there's an older human couple that's very clearly here on some kind of anniversary thing. You know, they have their own bottle of wine. They're dressed very nicely, that kind of stuff. Is there anything else you would like to know? Because you got a couple of hits that you can.
Nah. That was primarily what I was looking for. Just to see if anyone looked like. Yes, we're getting looks, but we're getting looks because of how we stick out amongst the crowd rather than like them trying to eavesdrop is the impression I'm getting. Okay, I'm happy with that.
There are several tables between you and the next people that are present, almost like a small buffer zone.
Okay.
I will also note that you guys all presumably have a DNI set up, so if you guys want to, at any point, pause things and have a quick brain texting conversation in your little conference call, just let me know and you guys can have that conversation easily.
Okay.
So yes, the job is to retrieve one of these technomancers, preferably alive, so that we can have a better idea of what kind of research they're doing, and if you could grab any of their data so far, that would also be appreciated.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you say research facility. What kind? Corp? Military? What?
It is corp, but it is hidden in plain sight as they are wont to do. And you will
Which
notice
corp?
that he probably gives you a little bit of a hesitation when he says they, as though he almost meant to say we.
Which corp?
Those details will come after we agree upon a price.
Fair enough. One more question from me, at least, before we start talking price. What environment is this in? Is this in right in Seattle?
There will be no excessive travel required. It is local,
Urban?
but not close.
Urban, rural, somewhere in between?
Somewhere in between, we'll start with.
Fair enough. Anybody else? Hearing a resounding no, let's hear your offer, Johnson.
I am willing to offer you 20,000 yen apiece for the intact and functional return of one of these technomancer subjects from this facility. An additional 5,000 yen per person will be available should you recover a copy of significant research data.
Brain text to Lucas, you're bad cop, I'm good cop.
Okay.
Go ahead, talk him up.
So 20,000, I don't know, it sounds light to, go into a research facility that's run by a corp. I think you're going to have to come up on that.
There are extenuating circumstances, my good friend, that make this not your standard job, where most of your standard objectives to be circumvented may not be present. Thus,
you'll be providing assistance other than just the new yen.
While I always like to have the opportunity to take not quite a hands-on, but perhaps a wallet-on approach to things that my conspirators are interested in acquiring, I believe in your personal talents in completing this task almost as is. You guys are more than welcome to keep firing back at him or to roll dice and abstract the rest of it out.
Right.
Lucas,
you're going to have the better negotiation.
You said that it was 20,000 for one technomancer. What if there's multiple technomancers and we bring more technomancers?
Is that something you're saying to him or something you want to say to the team?
That's something I just spoke out loud.
He'll pause for a moment. Like, you drive an interesting bargain. If there's anything else you guys want to say, or we can drop some dice.
Drop some dice.
I would dice it.
Sure. The guy that brought up the extra technomancers things, if you also wish to assist, you may go ahead and do so.
Let's see if I can do that. Defaulting to charisma then. So I get a dice. So it's 1d6 greater than 5 at the end, is it?
Yep.
Greater than 4.
Greater than 5. Okay, you didn't help, you didn't hurt.
Good job.
Lucas, I think you're receiving extra dice from Callum.
Yeah, at least.
Okay.
So, Callum, if you want to...
So roll how many more?
I don't know. I'm going to see how many he rolls.
Oh, okay.
Let's see, would it be etiquette or negotiation?
Negotiation. You are 100% negotiating right now.
All right, fine. Let's see. Hang on, I fat fingered that.
So Lucas,
Two more.
if you want to roll 2 more dice.
Ugh.
Okay.
I helped, sort of.
And then if there is nothing else you guys take away from this, may it be the phrase, are you happy with that level of success? Yeah?
Well,
Yeah.
I don't have any
Or
real
would you like
tricks
to edge it? Because you guys do have some time, and you do have a pile of edge, so it is up to you.
I don't feel real bad about 20k each, but Lucas, it's your call.
I'm not using my one edge to
All right.
roll one
Right.
No,
dice.
I'm good.
Okay.
I'm good.
All right. Let me. So he will stand firm on his price, but if you can get additional technomancers, he's going to tack on an additional 50% reduction. So like the first one will get you 20. If you get 2, it'll get you 30. If you get 3, it'll get you 35.
Okay.
Okay.
So, is there anything else you wanted to ask him for in so far as money? Because one of the things we have not discussed is getting any of it up front.
He expressed faith in us without any additional preparation, and we're not going to handshake this deal until we have a whole lot more details. So I guess let's wait for that part.
Okay.
Timmy just thought that food was the upfront money.
I mean, depending upon how much he
means an
eats.
equipment slush fund.
Yeah. So he'll be excellent, and now we can eat. And the waitress will come back around. She'll come back with an additional bottle of wine because I can only assume that first one is consumed by now.
Yes, certainly. I take that one too.
So, they will drop a bunch of random food. The salads that they drop in front of you will actually have some still squirming octopi upon it.
Classic.
The dwarf will be Mr. Johnson will be very happy. He's like, they genetically engineer these to not have ink sacs so as to not disrupt the flavor. And then he tears into it.
Can I do a cooking roll to
Sure.
see if it's the ink sacs that produce the flavour? Have they ruined this meal for me by genetically modifying them? Is the question. I don't know. No, I do. Maybe I don't know.
So that was 3 hits on.
Yeah.
What were you trying to do?
I don't know. Is the ink sac the nice part of nice squids? To my palate.
Not really. I don't know how much about ink sacs except they're used to like get away from predators. So I can only imagine that like at the very least when they put a still living small octopi on the plate in front of you and you go to stab it with your fork and it gets pierced, it's going to ink all over the place and that makes your salad. If it doesn't ruin the taste, it makes it visually unappealing, which when you're dealing with food is very, very important.
Hey, Bamce, real quick, I can answer that. Squid ink is a salty flavor, kind of tastes like iodine.
Yeah, a little bitter and a whole lot of brine.
Part of me really wants to know how you know that.
I
Because the
Googled it.
Italians make pasta out of it.
That too.
How about that?
Yeah, he used to work in a pizza place that made it.
Blech. That's,
Yeah, it
just
wasn't
sounds
very
gross.
good.
Yeah.
Maybe if it was like an Asian place and it was like soy sauce, you know, it comes with its own living soy sauce. Anyway, you guys will take a moment to tear into your food. He eats it very daintily, as a person of good breeding. So
fistfuls of salad.
do you do the little octopi is all one shot
No, I picked them up one at a time, and I put my pinky out because this is a nice place, so I've got a bit heat fancy.
Gotcha.
And I probably don't care for the texture, so I give them all to Grist. And then I look disappointedly at my, like, I assume just like a leafy green salad.
Yeah, with a couple of things for color, like, it's greens, the
Slightly fish flavored.
yeah. So
I grumble and
details.
call for more wine.
Details.
There is a facility that is out in the farming country of our fair city. It is hidden in plain sight in the way that it looks like a small farmhouse. However, it goes much deeper than that, quite literally. There is a couple of underground levels that is where we presume they are doing their actual research. And then they use the surrounding farmland to not only produce crop, but to give plausible deniability for a lot of other aspects of things. For example, why there is no matrix coverage in the area.
Is there any astral coverage, or do you want me to roll it?
Well, I
You
mean,
could-
we're not there yet.
Yeah, you're kind of like not
Oh.
there. You could. What is it you want to roll?
I was gonna ask when we get there to basically sense and see if there's any astral going on.
I sadly lack full astral details on the facility itself. However, it's possible. There is a decent amount of living material there in the plants and other things.
Seems pretty likely if they're going to build a containment unit for technomancers that it's going to include some astral defenses.
You do also know, being just a normally awakened person, that when you go below ground, there's all kinds of other problems. Like, you can't astrally project through the earth itself. So
Right.
they could be relying on some of that for astral defenses. You're typing really loud. If you could.
Sorry, that's my fault.
But this is kind of where we're going to break it down, and you guys have a decently long conversation where you guys feel free to ask me any questions you wish, and I'll be more than happy to answer them to the best of his knowledge.
Okay. Now can I ask, what corp is this?
You can, and he will tell you that it is... Was it Horizon that had the big Technomancer hunting?
Yes.
It was
Horizon.
Horizon,
Yeah.
Neonet, and
And
MCT.
And Renraku, as I know, but I think it's Horizon.
We'll go with Horizon then.
Okay.
It is not a AAA location. It is one of their AA agricultural facilities, supposedly. You know how much you can actually believe what they spin. And somebody's got a
Someone's
Geiger
chair is-
counter going.
Oh, I was gonna say somebody's chair is stupid squeaky. But
Well, yeah.
Geiger counter works too.
That's what it reminds me of. It's been going the whole time, but it's one of those things that's like, and bring it up. What else do you want to ask him? Because this is your opportunity to get a lot of free information.
Is he going to be sending us a packet of like whatever maps he's got of this area?
Yeah, he'll be happy to supply a data
Okay.
chip that has stuff on it.
All right. And what does he know about like straight up military or security protection of this place? What do they got for guards and ordnance and so on?
Some of the information that both he will say and is on the packet is they don't have a lot of obvious military presence, which is
Okay.
why it took them so
Good.
long to find the place. And
Yeah.
they really only found the place because another operative or a contractor, another runner, was taken there and managed to somehow get a message out before being silenced.
Mm. So he might still be present too. Interesting.
And he will, be quick to point out that this was not a team that he had anything to do with, just information that came to him.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm. That sounds very, very believable.
I mean, none of you all are technomancers. What do you have to worry about?
True.
Do they get any sort of regular? This is an operating agricultural facility, right? Like they're doing stuff. Do they get regular shipments of any kind of supplies that
Yes
we
and
could
no. They get
piggyback
regular
on as a way in?
shipments, but
Yep.
the days are inconsistent. It kind of depends upon what you're looking for. There'll be a couple of days they can get equipment shipments, a couple of days they will ship actual agricultural products out, a couple of
Uh-huh.
days that is just, people coming in, just like maintenance crews. It's never like consistent,
Okay.
but it's um, frequent.
Okay, so there might be a way for us to either piggyback on one of those or disguise ourselves as one that they didn't necessarily ask for as a way in. Okay. Anybody else got something?
No, that all sounds pretty good. I was
Yeah,
trying to
I
think
mean,
of
this
extra
this
stuff.
stage of the game is really not Timmy's expertise.
Yeah, fair enough.
That's fine. It's just one of those things. Is like this is your first avenue for information, so I want to make sure that you guys have the opportunity to ask all of the questions that you wish to ask, because
Mhm.
sometimes things go super crazy from here, and you don't have time to do anything legitimate. He does give you a timeline of about a week.
Okay.
It's not super strict, but much longer than that, and he will begin to consider this operation a bust. Um,
So what can he tells us about the package?
I don't know much about the specific packages themselves.
Hmm.
There could be anything in there, really. Just only thing that I know
I
is
I might be missaying that. It, to my understanding, we have to go grab somebody, not someone or not something, right?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what he's trying to ask. Is about the somebody that we have to go grab.
I
Yeah,
mean,
but they don't know what they're technomancers, but of what description we don't know.
yeah, he does
Oh,
not care as long as it is a technomancer which has been experimented upon.
Do we know if the technomancers have been brainwashed at all?
He doesn't know any details about what actual experiments are going on with them. He just knows that,
Okay.
you
So
know,
they could be brainwashed to not be friendly at all. Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I'm thinking about now is what's a good way to incapacitate them without damaging them. We might need to go buy a whole lot more drugs.
he just
I've
wants
got a
them
street dog
back
on.
mostly intact. Like, you could probably fill them full of stick and shock, and as long as they're not bleeding out and dying.
Yeah. I was
I mean,
thinking
I have
more
a
like,
couple-
I mean, you could
Trank
make the argument
batches.
that dead is
yeah, that's what
still
I was thinking.
intact.
Tranks or bliss.
I got 4 trank patches. I think we can get at least one of them out.
Okay. Hey, Prof, what do you have for like stun spells, if any? I don't have your character sheet in front of me.
I think he's got Stunbolt. I don't remember.
I do have stun bolt.
Okay,
No, I have
also
stun
a
ball.
good thing.
Sorry.
Okay, little splashier, but okay.
Just makes it more effective and efficient.
Right. Especially if there's like 5 of them.
Holy out.
Should we be bringing like body
Um,
bags or like a crate and a dolly or something?
I might. This will be more of a DNI to everybody, and less to him,
Yeah.
or not so much with him involved. Might need more reagents.
Those are easy
Okay.
to acquire. You can just purchase them.
Yeah, I figured, but I figured let him know so we make a stop before we go there.
So, with that, we will conclude our little meet and take our first break for the day. Come back, have a couple of discussions. There's a few things I want to touch on about setting up your meet and that kind of thing. The ways I like to do things. And then hopefully you guys will have some questions. We'll talk about them real quick, and then we'll break straight into legwork.
Okay.
So I'll see you guys in